In this tutorial, I'm going to be using Django Crispy Forms to make the contact form look better. Go to Django Crispy Forms URL here and hit the installation guide. I'll be following this installation guide. Copy pip install upgrade Django Crispy Forms, and in the root of your project, paste it in and run the command. Type pip freeze, and I can see that Django Crispy Forms has been installed. In your project, open settings.py, and under install app, type in Crispy Forms. Save settings.py. Go back to the installation guide. I need to copy under template packs, crispy underscore template pack. I'll just copy this whole thing. Go back into settings.py and scroll to the bottom and paste in crispy template pack at the bottom. I'm going to be using Bootstrap 3, so delete uniform and type Bootstrap 3. Open terminal, run Python manage.py migrate, and I can see that Crispy Forms is synchronized. Run your local development server, Python manage.py run server. Go back to the installation guide. Copy load Crispy Forms. In Sublime Text, under Templates, open contact.html. On line 2, load in the Crispy Forms by pasting in the code. I'm going to apply Crispy Forms to this form that I'm rendering down here. So instead of rendering it as a paragraph, delete as underscore p, and instead apply the Crispy Form tag. Just like that. Save contact.html. Go to your project and go to slash contact. Okay, great. This contact form looks better. This version of Crispy Form uses Bootstrap 3, so I can adjust the window size, and the form's now responsive. It fits into the window size. Awesome. The form is too big though, so I'll adjust its layout. Go to this URL, getbootstrap.com CSS grid. I'm going to talk about how Bootstrap's grid system works. So if you scroll down to this table titled Grid Options, Bootstrap works on a grid system consisting of 12 columns. There's 12 columns in each row. You can see the stacked example. Every row adds up to 12. So here, Bootstrap's example illustrates how you can divide each row's columns into different sized sections. For example, this row has 3 sections, each 4 wide. And you can see down here where this is defined as class call medium 4. So as I said, this row right here with class MD4 is made up of 3 divs. Each div has a class of call MD4. The 4 means that each div takes up 4 columns of the 12 total columns available for each row. Because 4 divided by 12 is 1/3, each of these divs takes up 1/3 of the row. Bootstrap is responsive to screen size, so if you look at this example grid, and if I drag the browser window smaller, at a specific window size, the grid columns collapse into individual rows. So look at this grid options table again. The table shows the different class prefixes available, such as here, .call_sm. These class prefixes change the window size. The grid columns collapse and stack into rows. So for example, if I use column small 4, the columns at a tablet-like screen size, like it says here, would stack into individual rows. Because of Bootstrap's responsive grid, I can create templates that work for many different screen sizes. I'm going to add a row to the project. This row will constrain the contact form, to one section in the row, and the row will be 4 columns wide. So to make this row, go back into contact.html, and above the title, below block content, add a new div, and give this div a class of row. Copy the div, paste it below, and I'll give this div a class of column dash extra small dash 4, and then I need to close off both of these divs, so I'll close them down here above the end block slash div, 2 of them. Save contact.html, refresh slash contact. Now the form is a third of its previous size. Again, this is because each row has 12 columns, but here I have constrained this form to only 4 columns. I'm going to copy everything from line 7 all the way down to this closing div, and I'll add 2 more of these, so paste it twice. Save and refresh the contact page. Now there are 3 forms. Each form takes up a third of the row. This is because I set each div in the row to take up 4 columns. Here. So they're all in the same row, and each takes up 4, equaling 12. So if I drag the window size smaller, because each column has a class of column extra small 4, the extra small prefix means that the columns in this row will never stack on top of each other. I don't want this. So go back into contact.html. Instead of extra small, I'll put medium. So change each extra small to medium. And save contact.html and refresh the contact page. Now if I drag the window size smaller, because I changed the class prefix to medium, what's going on? Refresh. There we go. I forgot to refresh. So now if I drag the window size smaller, because the prefix is medium, the columns will now collapse on top of each other when the window size is smaller than 992 pixels. It specifies it here. When it's greater or equal to 992 pixels. They collapse. Okay, great. I'll leave it like that. These other class prefixes, depending on what your needs are, you could use the different ones and look at the Bootstrap documentation to see what you need. Go back to contact.html, and I don't need 3 of these forms, so I'll just delete 2 of them. And instead of having it have a class of class call dash medium 4, I'll put class call dash small dash 6, and then I'll offset this column by call dash sm for small offset dash 3. Now this form is only 6 columns wide, but by offsetting 3 columns from each side of the form, I centered the form in the middle of Bootstrap's 12 columns. So save contact.html, refresh the contact page. The form is now centered in the middle of the row. In this tutorial, I added crispy forms to the project. I then changed the Bootstrap's grid system. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next video.